2, 3, 4, and then in the final week for BYU right now. Zach Barnett, of Football Scoop, with his schedule, he's the genesis of this idea. We'll give you our picks of who BYU could put in there, and obviously all of this is in flux. It's just kind of fun for now. Hopefully there's some form of reality to it later. The best to wear 51 and 52, plus fifth-year senior Chris Wilcox will join us to preview the cornerbacks and tell us what it's like to prepare for a season when you don't know who BYU is going to play in the other 5 games right now.
So many unknowns right now.
And BYU can't start the extended fall camp Monday. They have to wait until August 24th or thereabouts, until they get a game earlier. There's just a lot in flux. But first, today's headlines.
8 BYU players made Phil Steele's all-independent first team.
Thank you for saying it.
And I had to slow down because if you say it fast, it's Phil Steele.
Yep. No.
So you have to slow down. So 8 BYU players made Phil Steele's all-independent first team. That includes Matt Bushman, Gunnar Romney, James Impey, Brady Christensen, Isaiah Kafusi, Kavika Fanua, Chaz Ayu, and Dax Milne.
Big 12 Commissioner Bob Bowlesby said it's too early to make a decision regarding conference only for football. Quote, frankly, we haven't been advised to do that by our scientists and medical advisors. I didn't know the league had those. That's nice. We've been advised to move forward slowly and constantly reevaluate, and that's what we'll be doing until we're told it's inadvisable. End quote. Pac-12 and Big Ten have already announced they are doing conference-only football schedules this fall, resulting in 5 canceled BYU games to this point. This is interesting to me because I would think you need to decide now, because a team like BYU and others would need to figure out who they're going to play if they're not going to play them.
Yeah, certainly, especially if you're in a situation where you need games sooner rather than later. Yet
I get the idea.
Yes.
Of, well, what if we don't have to?
Yeah, there's
I see it.
Too many variables to want to jump the gun and make a decision that maybe you don't have to make right now. Gary Parrish of CBS Sports writes that NCAA Division I basketball should follow the JUCO schools in moving the start of the season to January. Road game.
Boyd Stadium.
But here's the deal. It's a road game, but come on.
Oh, no, it's in Allegiant. That changed.
It's what I'm saying. But even if it was in their own home stadium,
yes.
Which Allegiant ultimately is going to be.
BYU is?
Yeah, it's going to be a home game for BYU regardless. That's why I have no problem going on the road, because you know it's going to be a home game for BYU anyway. Yeah. And I like it because it's a regional game.
Yeah.
And it's also it's close travel. Yeah. You're not having to travel very far. And even if you wanted to get on a bus, you wouldn't even have to get on a plane if you didn't want to.
Right.
That's drivable. And I like the matchup with UNLV. So like I said, you can get a road game out of it. You call it a road game. Technically, it would be a road game, but let's be honest, it's going to be a home game because you'd have more BYU fans there. So I like it as UNLV, whatever they're going to be called.
Brian Keel. Oh, are they changing them?
I know it's a possibility, so I don't know. I didn't want to call them the Rebels because I don't know if they'll be the Rebels by then.
Yeah, the Washington football team. I go home Navy. Home with Navy. Ken Niumatalolo. It's the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints Bowl in week 2. I like Navy there. I think BYU should play Navy. I don't want to play the midshipmen or even Army very much because they're good and they kill your knees, right? So that's week 2. Game 2. Game 3, 33 teams available. Top 5, West Virginia, Texas A&M, Texas Tech, Toledo, Wyoming. Who you got?
I'm going to go with Texas Tech.
Matt Wells game.
Yeah, and not just that, but this would be a road game. So you're going to Lubbock, but you stay P5, so you have another P5 opponent. And for me personally, I want to schedule as many Big 12 teams as possible to try and get that relationship going.
The love.
You want to strengthen the relationship with the Big 12 as much as possible. So I'm going to go with the Big 12 team in Texas Tech.
Should BYU beat the Big 12 a bunch if they want to get in? Is that it, or should they lose? We'll discuss later. I go at Texas A&M. I think that'd be fun to kind of resurrect that game from the 90s where BYU played, obviously, in a Holiday Bowl. They played in Provo. They played several games. I think that'd be fun. We're the same direction where it's like, yeah, let's play a Power 5. Let's play a Texas team available. I like the SEC team in Texas A&M, former Big 12 team, of course. Okay, Game 4, 14 teams available. Top 5, Cincinnati, Miami, Boston College, UConn. And then there's not a lot of good options. I put the Citadel in there. So who you got in Game 4?
Yeah, this one I did not go P5. I went, and this is my home game. This is where BYU gets the one home game.
Okay.
And I'm going with Cincinnati. I'm going with the Bearcats.
Nice.
Now, it's not P5, but it's one of the, and some people could say they've already arrived. It's one of the top up-and-coming G5 schools. We know how good they they are trending.
Yep.
And so I think this is an opportunity for you to get them on your home field. It's an opportunity to prove how you stack up against
Yes.
another G5 that's in that running for being the one that takes the next step. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I think if you can have an opportunity to face them and beat them, I think that bodes well for BYU. So I think you get the home game with Cincinnati.
And I believe Cincinnati was what, the Group of 5 team last year? Was that right? Or was it Memphis? I think it was Cincinnati. Yeah, I have Cincinnati as well for all the reasons you mentioned. I think it's a good game. I think that's a game that BYU's played recently, right? In 2014 and then at home, and then 2015 and 2016. Yeah, I would love for BYU to play some of the top echelon AAC teams pretty consistently. Some of the best of the rest. I think BYU already does that in Boise State every year. I think Utah State's a quality rivalry where they've become a program that's greatly respected. They used to be a doormat, now they're not. But the AAC teams make sense. Okay, on to game 13. Only one available game. No one's playing non-con. It's Notre Dame. I don't actually believe that Notre Dame's going to play BYU, but this is the only team available. So there we go. We both have Notre Dame in this one.
And we don't need to specify home or road because we know they're not coming to Provo.
Maybe, and hopefully they do. BYU,
Hopefully they do.
They contractually owe BYU a game, but you can always. There's no contract that can't be broken. Literally no contract that can't be broken. So Notre Dame, that's exciting. Hopefully BYU could actually make that happen. So to review, what are your 5 games?
Would be TCU for week 1. In week 2, or game 2, I'm going with UNLV. Game 3, Texas Tech. Game 4 is going to be Cincinnati.
And look at it in context here.
Yeah.
It looks nice.
That's not bad.
I like it.
That is not bad at all.
I like it almost as much as I like my own.
Okay. Let's go. And then obviously Notre Dame for in game 13.
Right.
Week 13, whatever
and
it is.
Notre Dame would be like arguably the crown jewel of that, right? And
That's a good schedule.
Oh, no, it's too
That
good.
is a good schedule.
It's actually too good. Let's look at my schedule. So open the season at Alabama. This just isn't happening. I can't even say this without laughing. At Alabama, Navy at home, at Texas A&M, Cincinnati, and then you have Notre Dame at the end. I mean, that'd be awesome. I was very calculated, by the way, to not have 4 Power 5s or even 3 in the first 4. I wanted 4 Power 5s, period. So I have Alabama, Texas A&M, Missouri, and Notre Dame. I think that could work. Now, do we actually believe that BYU is going to play 12 games? 1, that the season is going to happen. 2, that 12 games will happen. It feels like we're just inching towards less. I don't know how many, 8, 6? And I want to ask this at some point. Would you, and we'll discuss this another day.
So if you play 6, what's bowl eligibility? 3?
Well, you just,
Do you even have bowls this
Do you
year
even have
outside of the New Year's 6?
That's a great question. What do the bowls do if there's not 12 games for teams? What if most teams play 10? Even one less game affects everything.
Maybe this is how we finally get rid of all of the extra bowl games that nobody cares about.
Why are you opposed to these? Are you opposed to these?
To all of the bowl games?
Yeah.
I think that it's
just an exhibition.
It has been diluted so much. It used to be a reward for a good season, and now everybody goes to a bowl game. It's not special anymore.
Right.
Unless you're an upper echelon.
Who says it needs to be special?
I think it needs to be special. That's what you play for. You're playing.
Most teams don't play for anything. They play for a conference championship.
But yes.
But then what?
But
There's
it's also
nothing.
a goal is to go to a bowl. That is most programs. That's in their goals for the year.
Right. It's to
But
get
if
some
everybody
swag and to
goes-
play another game.
Yeah.
The point is you get to play another game. Tell me.
And you get more practices. That's what the coach is like.
Yay! tell me the benefits of not playing another game, right? I think there should be bowl games, but you're right. It's diluted, but against what? An old standard. It's not 74 with 11 games now.
I think you would be hard pressed to find people who are happy with the number of bowl games right now.
So make less, and it's okay. Let's address it another time. What I was going to say was, let's discuss another time. Would you rather play 6 games if you knew you only got 6 in the fall, or would you rather go to the spring hoping you can get more games?
That's a good topic.
Well, let's discuss
like
another
it.
time. Our question of the day: what is BYU's highest priority in trying to schedule games in place of canceled Big Ten and Pac-12 games? Let's go to the voice of the nation.
This is the voice of the nation on BYU Sports Nation.
Jared Havens on Facebook. You can weigh in on Twitter and Instagram as well. If there's going to be a season, then find the best games possible. For me, that is winnable games against Power 5 opponents. For example, I'd rather see BYU schedule Texas Tech than Alabama. Yeah, I think you're always going to schedule 1 or 2 that are like crazy out there, maybe you win.
Can you imagine, though, being able to schedule Alabama, though? Be able to
the only time BYU has is because Glenn Tuckett hooked it up.
Right, exactly.
Glenn Tuckett had been the interim AD at Alabama, I think during that season or right before, and he hooked that up. So who knows?
I just want to be able to interview Nick
This is so
Saban
hypothetical.
for football pregame on the radio. That's the
if he allows it. We did.
Oh, he'll talk. This is the assistants that won't.
We did BYU Louisville in 07, and Rick Pitino wouldn't do a halftime interview with your boy. Well, with BYU.
Probably
too,
had more to do with
looked
you
at me and he's
than-
like, "Are you in middle school?" Like, no, no.
Coming up, what's better than one? Well, of course, two. We've got a twofer in today's Best to Wear It.
Absolutely. And the guy that had the genesis of the idea we just executed, Zach Barnett of Football Scoop, on the 5 replacement games he has for BYU. This is BYU Sports Nation.
One thing Mountain America has learned over nearly a century of helping members achieve their financial dreams is that we are stronger together. We achieve great things together. And while we are still here to serve you, we know together feels different right now. It might take some time, but we're looking forward to the day when we can gather together again. We're still here, guiding you forward.
They say the best gift is a memory, a moment we love that we can't forget. When we say everything without saying anything. They are moments that you make together. And the memories last forever.
Tim Daly Ford in Spanish Fork sells Ford vehicles including the F-150, the pickup designed for work and play. Tim Daly Ford maintains a large inventory, providing more choices for selecting an F-150 with the power and engineering to carry and tow heavy loads. The F-150's design offers comfort, safety, and a range of options to choose from. Think Ford, think Tim Daly Ford in Spanish Fork.
Lexi Winston from Waverly, Iowa.
Lexi, Deborah Mack. She's a coach. She wants to train you.
6 skating competitors heading for the 1980 Olympics. Is she blind or isn't she?
At least now she reports seeing some light in shadows.
There's 5 months until the first competition. That's plenty of time.
Well, they can't know I can't see. Otherwise, they'll just feel sorry for me.
BYU Sports Nation is presented by the BYU Store, official outfitter of BYU fans everywhere.
The greatest BYU football plays. In the words of the greatest BYU football players, we live the Miracle Bowl moment. Beck to Harleen and Taysom Hill taming Texas, among others. Join us Friday on BYU Sports Nation for BYU football. Great moments as told by players at noon Eastern on BYU TV and BYU Radio.
We're excited about that one.
It's going to be fun.
Thanks for joining us here on BYU Sports Nation. I'm Jerem Jordan. He is Jason Shepard. We told you our picks for the fill-ins in the previous segment. Now we bring in the guy who generated the idea in the first place. His name is Zach Barnett of Football Scoop on the Deseret First Credit Union hotline. Zach, thanks for the idea. First off, we're sitting here going, who's BYU going to play? You provided the ammo for this. So first off, thanks for providing that idea.
Appreciate the kind words, and it was definitely fun. Anytime you get to nerd out on something like this, it's fun, although the circumstances definitely are the opposite of fun.
Yeah, they are. And who knows what happens? A lot of this is just, hearsay. Hopefully we have a season. If it's 12 games, that's great. If it's not, I think we'd all take something over nothing at this point. So let's start there before we break down who you kind of put in the replacement games here for BYU. What are your thoughts on what's going down and where we're headed with college football in general?
Yeah, I mean, all along, this has been I think we've all known it's going to be a decision made ultimately by the presidents, which is, a good and bad thing in how risk averse or risk willing they are to take on a college football season in regards to public perception. Because, I mean, nothing in the last month about these programs' abilities to test their players has changed. It's just the circumstances off campus that have gotten much progressively worse. And so it's going to come down to, do the numbers get better, and are college presidents willing to maybe take on the optics hit if they continue playing in an environment that has not improved? Because in theory, these programs still have the test and are still able to monitor their guys. Nothing about that has changed.
Right. And then the Big Ten and Pac-12, of course, late last week saying we're going conference only. That takes out 5 BYU games, and we'll get to those in a moment. But what do you think about what the Big 12 said? Bob Bowlesby says, we think it's too early to make that decision. I'm going, too early? It's July 15th. Like, when are you going to make it? Because if you say conference only, all of a sudden the other teams have to scramble. So when do you think these decisions should be made, if they're going to be made at all, relative to conference only with Power Fives?
Well, the SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey has said throughout that he's going to use every bit. He's going to wait until the clock's at 0-0-1 because time is our best ally at this point. So, waiting until then, hopefully the numbers get better. And then I wouldn't be surprised at all at the SEC level to see them come up with some sort of alliance between them and the ACC and the Big 12, just because there's so much cross-pollination of those schedules.
It's interesting when you look at the games BYU lost, as Jarom mentioned, there are 5 Power 5 games that BYU no longer has on the schedule. There's a possibility, depending on if some of the G5 schools decide to go conference only, specifically Mountain West Conference teams that BYU has on the schedule. Do you think if the rest of the P5 teams go conference only, do you think we will see the same type of thing happen with G5 schools?
I think you'd be a fool to rule that out at this point, because one thing that I think that going conference only does 2 things for each of these leagues. It allows them to be on the same page testing wise, and it gives them elbow room in the schedule that, if we have to shut this game down, we can move it around, we can move games up. And so that's something that I think if you're a conference commissioner, it has to be really valuable to you, because then you're not behind the 8 ball if you have to cancel a game. So at this point, I'd love to say something different, but I think you have to be aware of that possibility.
And if it does happen, BYU better have the independents on the horn, right? And I know they've had to have talked to the independents at this point. So, all right, let's break down the 5 games you threw in here. It's fun when you look at the names, so let's walk through it. So week 1, you have BYU at Oklahoma State. Week 2, Virginia Tech in Provo against BYU. Week 3, BYU at San Jose State. Week 4, Miami BYU. That's a game from 1990 that BYU would love to redo. And then week 13, Notre Dame and BYU. The Notre Dame game is a sore spot here, by the way, because BYU went there multiple times and they have yet to return that game contractually. So when fans saw that, they're like, yeah, baby. So what went into the decision of these 5?
I was trying to think like a TV program. Can you guys hear my dog?
Oh, yes. What's your dog's name?
Apparently, your dog is not a big fan of Notre Dame playing BYU right now.
No. Yeah, I've got a repairman at my door right now. My dog's doing that. Sorry about that.
If you want to take care of the dog, we could just talk amongst ourselves for a sec. Unless
yeah, give me just 1 second. Sorry.
Hey, Zach's taking care of the dog. Listen, we've all been there.
Look, it's live. This is happening.
This is how it works.
This is what happens during live TV.
This is our first COVID Zoom interview where we had to interrupt for a dog. I think we've broken new ground. I think this is good. Okay, let's talk about this, and then we'll get Zach on here in a second. So he's got at Oklahoma State week 1.
Which I like.
I like, too. Virginia Tech in Provo, I think, is a fun game. That's a great game. Week 3 at San Jose State. Mountain West team have been there in Independence. That's a game BYU actually lost in 2012. Granted, that was the Spartan team that finished in the top 25. Miami in Provo in week 4. 1990 feelings.
Yeah,
Miami's always a name. They're not quite what they have been before, right? And then week 13, Notre Dame. And let's bring in Zach. Zach, is everything good?
Yeah, the dog is chained up next to a mountain right now. He's not.
Hey, all good. We broke new ground. That's our first dog interruption interview in the COVID era. We were going to do it at some point. So we've laid out your games. What went into the decision of those 5 opponents for BYU in those weeks?
Again, I'm trying to think like a TV programmer. Think about, because there's a million different ways you can piece this puzzle together. But I'm trying to think of what's the most fun, what's going to drive the most eyeballs, and that's where BYU's brand, plays into it. So, and then at the same time, it's going to be, if I'm at Oklahoma State, who do I have confidence that's going to be able to test their players in a way that makes me feel good about stepping on the field with them, and that you're not going to bring the virus into my locker room in the stadium. So that's where I think BYU is definitely ahead of any other independent, save for Notre Dame. And so, at the same time, I'd love to see BYU Virginia Tech game this fall. Who wouldn't?
Don't you think it is at some point, and obviously BYU is certainly going to want some of these teams to come to Provo. If we're in a situation where some of these teams sort of view the non-conference games as we're kind of throwing you a bone, how likely is it that some of these Power 5 teams are going to go on the road to, say, BYU or any of the other teams that are looking for games?
Yeah, I definitely say unlikely at this point, just because, I mean, time is ticking away by the second at this point, obviously. So I think, a game like TCU Alabama, which was kind of my genesis of the idea, because Alabama was supposed to play USC, TCU was supposed to play Cal, and Alabama was supposed to be in the Metroplex playing USC at the Cowboys Stadium. Well, TCU is obviously 20 minutes down the road, so why can't we make that game happen? Texas A&M and Texas Tech both lost games against Pac-12 schools. They're in the same state. Why can't we make this game happen? So that was kind of my idea of, well, what other games can we make happen? Obviously, most of those games aren't going to happen, but with a school like with the resources and the brand like BYU, if I'm Virginia Tech, I might feel comfortable about letting them into my stadium, but getting on the road, getting in an airplane to go to Provo, Utah, obviously that's a long bridge to cross at this point in time.
We're talking to Zach Barnett of Football Scoop. What's the likelihood of a 12-game season? What's the likelihood we play it all? What are your thoughts about this?
Likelihood of a 12-game season, I would say, is decreasing by the second. But the stakes, I think, at the base level, these programs still need these games. And I think at the base level, the players still want to play. So I think the hunger for the game, the need for these games is still there. And I think by waiting as long as possible, I think, you invite the possibility that, hey, maybe the MLB gets its season up and running. They're not playing in a bubble. Obviously, those guys are professional college athletes or amateurs. But maybe by late July, the NBA is up and running. And maybe the mood in the country is different. And as we've seen in these last week, the mood of the country right now is one of the most important aspects we have in this calculus.
Absolutely. Well, Zach, we appreciate the time. Here's to these games actually happening. Some of these that you just actually nailed, and we go, hey, Zach nailed it way back in July. So we appreciate the time, Zach.
Thank you all for having me.
That's Zach Barnett on the Deseret First Credit Union Hotline. Deseret First, you know why, we show how. Hopefully, these games are replaced and BYU can play a full schedule. But, yeah, it does feel like if we play, it's not going to be 12. We've heard that from Brett McMurphy. Now Zach Barnett. That's the general sense. It's like, hey, if we can play several games, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. You're trying to play as many games as you possibly can. And I think in all likelihood, if you're going to get teams to come here, it's going to be difficult to get these bigger P5 programs to come here. If you're going to get home games out of it, you're probably going to have to schedule the G5 teams to come to Provo.
And that's a new thought, which we should explore later, which is if BYU only plays 8 games, that changes maybe what I think about how many Power 5s BYU should play.
Agreed.
Maybe just load it up and just go and just see what you can do.
Coming up, senior corner Chris Wilcox. How is he preparing for a season that may not happen?
And Jimmer Fredette versus Brandon Davies in Spain. Who's saying that? This is BYU Sports Nation.
First and 10, BYU. Wide receiver screen near side, complete to Simon. Simon to the 10, to the 5. Does he get in? He dives for the pylon. Where's the signal? No, it comes late. He scored. He scored. There comes the touchdown signal. Micah Simon for 6. It's a flea flicker and a throw to Bushman. It's complete and another touchdown! Fires quickly to his right. Picked off. Diving interception made. Zach throws. Caught on the goal line. Touchdown Cougars! Touchdown Cougars! Intercepted. Yes, it is. Isaiah Kaufusi with a pick. The Cougars again with a takeaway.
At Intermountain Healthcare, we understand that broken arms haven't stopped. Babies continue to be born, emergencies continue to happen, and doctor visits are still needed. At Intermountain Healthcare, we've put the measures in place to safely care for you in these difficult times. So please, don't put off the care you need, especially for stroke-like symptoms, chest pain, difficulty breathing, or other urgent care. We're here for you. Visit intermountainhealthcare.org/here-for-you to learn how to get the care you need.
Behind every bar of fudge, bag of popcorn, handful of sweets, and roll of sushi, there is a fascinating creation process that makes it all possible. From fresh ingredients to finished products, Food Factory gives you a behind-the-scenes look into the crazy, wonderful ways your favorite foods are made. Grab your hard hat and your appetite, and join us for Food Factory on BYU TV.
Listen to BYU Sports Nation on demand by downloading the podcast. Just Google BYU Sports Nation podcast, and don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review.
Welcome back. He is Jason Shepard. I am Jeremy Jordan. Great to have you here on BYU Sports Nation. We've had all kinds of discussion about replacement schedules. We had a dog interrupt an interview. Perhaps we'll have a cat interrupt an interview. Who knows by the end of the show. Maybe Julian Radley will bring a cat in. Anyways, let's whip it.
It's time for the Cougar Whip Around.
Football. A shout out to Julian, by the way.
My neighbor.
I know. 8 BYU players made Phil Steele's all-independent first team. That includes Matt Bushman, Gunnar Romney, James Impey, Brady Christensen, Isaiah Kaufusi, Kavika Fonua, Chaz Ayu, and Dax Milne.
Athletics news.
Big 12 Commissioner Bob Bowlesby, who Jason Shepard hopes is on this show frequently in the future, says it's too early to make a decision regarding conference only for football. Quote, frankly, we haven't been advised to do that by our scientists and medical advisors. We've been advised to move forward slowly and constantly reevaluate, and that's what we'll keep doing until we're told it's inadvisable, end quote. Pac-12 and Big Ten have already announced they are doing conference-only football schedules, much to the dismay of BYU's schedule, because 5 games have been canceled up to this point.
Basketball.
Gary Parrish of CBS Sports writes that NCAA Division I basketball should follow the JUCO schools in moving the start of the season to January and consider conference-only schedules. Parrish said, quote, the advantage of building conference-only schedules that do not start until at least January is that they would give our country more time to get this virus under control and maybe, just maybe, discover a vaccine. It would also allow a conference, whether it's the Big Ten or Big 12 or any other league with tremendous resources, to create testing protocols that are consistently applied to all, end quote.
Jimmer!
TalkBasket.net reports Spanish basketball team Baskonia is targeting Jimmer Fredette for next season. Baskonia beat FC Barcelona and Brandon Davies in the domestic championship earlier this month. That could be fun.
Golf.
Kirsten Fotu teed off at 9 a.m. this morning in the round of the Utah Women's State Am at Thanksgiving Point, currently tied with her opponent through 7 at 28.
At 28 what?
I don't know.
At 28.
At 28 is all I've got.
Okay. Bring on the best to wear it. We're counting up to 99. Yesterday was 50. We couldn't name a 50. We had 3 great candidates in Bart Oates and Greg Kite and Trevor Maddox. So today we have singular choices. Let's go 51 and then 52, Jason.
Yeah, number 51 going to Justin Lutgerodt. Played for BYU back in 2004 and 2005, a fantastic linebacker or linebacker, depending on how you want to look at it.
Depending on if you're David Nixon.
98 tackles, 7 sacks, 14 tackles for loss, 3 INTs, and a forced fumble in 2 seasons. Recorded a team-high 10.5 tackles for loss during his senior season. Was the Mountain West Conference Defensive Player of the Week with 3 fumble recoveries back in 2005. Listen to this. In 2005, had an interception in 3 straight games. That's impressive. And in 2005, he was credited with 6 turnovers during a 3-week span.
That's incredible.
6 turnovers in 3 weeks.
Okay, Justin Lutgerodt did an amazing job. You know why? Because David Nixon was on a mission. that exact time. No, I'm just kidding. Justin had a tremendous career. Oregonian, solid guy that forced a lot of turnovers.
Yes, he did. Yeah, that's unbelievable in a 3-week span.
52.
52. Who you got?
Jim Yusevich. Jim Yusevich, men's hoops, played in the 80s, 82 to 84, 86 to 88. Really, really good post player. And ends up being all WAC player. 7th in BYU history. Field goal percentage, 14th in blocks. In 83-84, he had the 3rd best field goal percentage in BYU history. 64%. The dude didn't really miss. Played professionally in Europe, Israel, Greece, CBA, tried out for the Clippers, released shortly thereafter. And here's the most random thing I have about Jim Yusevich. He's the only player listed by BYU basketball with the last name with the letter U. Jim Yusevich.
Got the whole page to himself.
It's just him. He's the only guy. Number 52, Jim Yusevich. It's going to be fun on some of these numbers as we get later where it's super random. Like, there's like a dude or a lady that wore that number, and that's kind of it, right? Can't wait to get
Please
to
don't describe them as just a dude, though. Or just a lady.
Well, no. Yeah. I'm not going to say who I'm referring to, but they're down the line. What's coming up?
Coming up, too high, too low. 7% chance there's no college football this year? We'll discuss.
Who's saying 7%?
Yes.
Senior quarterback Chris Wilcox coming up, preparing for a season of uncertainty. No Utah, but what does it mean? Chris Wilcox coming up. This is BYU Sports Nation.
BYU Store and BYU Athletics encourage you to be ready for the coronavirus. Be safe, be smart, and inform yourself and your loved ones about it. Be kind and support one another. Learn more about COVID-19 and the latest health advice from the World Health Organization at who.int.
Welcome to a partnership where customer experience comes first. It's our focus. It's your expectation. We provide support to those that go the extra mile. For all of us. Supplying products, training, and service for generations. Learn more at BradyIndustries.com.
Get outside with the ones you love and enjoy the open road. And the closed one. We believe in family, fun, and experiences that last. And we want to be there as you make new memories over and over again. That's why we're proud to carry the popular Nissan Rogue. Tim Daly Nissan Southtown. Family owned since 1968.
We are on a mission to reward unsuspecting do-gooders.
In every episode of Random Acts. Only on BYU TV and the BYU TV app.
What is going on? Why is everyone so serious?
Random Acts is serious business.
Seriously?
Yes.
You know what?
Oh my goodness.
It's a little much.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, you guys, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
BYU Sports Nation is presented by The BYU Store, the official outfitter of BYU fans everywhere.
To get to know the players, the coaches, and some compelling fan stories, search Deep Blue on the BYU TV app today. All 23 Deep Blue features from last season are currently available right now.
Absolutely. Great storytelling done in those. And another one of BYU's great stories is our next guest, Chris Wilcox, joining us, senior cornerback, 5th-year senior on the Deseret First Credit Union hotline. Chris, welcome to BYU Sports Nation. Great to have you, man.
It's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Certainly right now is an interesting time for everybody, most notably coaches, administrators, and, of course, players as you guys try and figure out what's going to happen. What's the last couple of days been like as you've seen 5 opponents drop off the schedule and now practice kind of pushed back a little bit formally?
It's something we don't want to see. It's very unfortunate. But as for like the players and everyone on the team, we just have to keep preparing for the season. We don't want to just stop because 5 games are like gone. We know Tom's working his hardest to get a new schedule for us, and we believe in him. And we know that everything should be good.
When you look at the off season, it's been longer than normal, and it's certainly been an unorthodox off season. Nothing about the off season has been normal at all. How have you handled the last couple of months?
We just, honestly, every time I see something new on the news, I'm just trying to adjust to it. Of course, you know that we would have been starting like our 6-week prepare like for the season, I think today or actually this week. But, you know, every time we see the stuff like that, we just got to adjust. And we know that we're not the only ones dealing with this kind of stuff. Everyone in the nation is dealing with it. So we just got to adjust and just keep preparing.
So for now, walk us through kind of what the plans are in terms of you were going to start formal preparation, right? You've been doing voluntary workouts. I guess BYU needs to schedule a game in week 1 for you guys to, I guess, technically start that. So what's life like right now as you kind of navigate this part?
Yeah, so we were supposed to start the mandatory workouts, but unfortunately all that happened. So right now we're just continuing the voluntary workouts, still like doing speed work, getting our stamina work in, things like that, lifting. It's just the same thing every week, to be honest. And then, of course, we're doing stuff on our own as far as the defense goes. We're meeting together, making sure everyone knows their plays, and then we'll still do PRPs with the offense.
The controllable is just how you guys approach this, right? And you're one of a bunch of seniors on this team. Describe to us the leadership of this group that is navigating this together, trying to prepare and stay together for whatever happens.
Yeah, so we have, like, Isaiah will take over a lot of the time for the defense and prepare everybody. Troy as well. A lot of the seniors, you know, a lot of the leaders on the team will just get everybody together and just tell everybody to just, like, relax, don't panic, things like that. We all know it's going to be under control in the long run, so we're all just preparing for the season.
As you mentioned, having to adjust to things is kind of become commonplace at this point. One of the things you do know is that there are a couple of teams that have dropped off the schedule, and one of those teams is the season opening game at Utah. What was your reaction when you realized that you were not going to get an opportunity to play Utah this year?
You know, it was unfortunate. That's probably one of the biggest games that everyone on the team was looking up forward to, since it was our first game and we get a chance at revenge. But you know, things like this it doesn't usually happen, but unfortunately this year it did. So we just have to go with the flow. We can't just put our heads down. We know that we're still going to get more opponents on the schedule, and we just got to prepare for those guys.
We created a hypothetical schedule, which is it was just outrageous. But if there was any hint of truth to it, that would be awesome. We looked at who had cancellations or buys, Chris, in week 1, and Jason said, hey, TCU. I said Alabama. So what do you think of those two possibilities?
Look, anybody on the schedule will do it. We're not backing down from nobody.
You guys just want to play right now, right?
Exactly.
We'll preview the cornerbacks in your group in a second, which is surprisingly loaded given that you lost 2 seniors in Austin Lee and Dayan Ghanwoloku. But I wanted to ask you about, hopefully, 1, we play, right? Hopefully, 2, we play 12 games, but it feels like it may be less if we play. Are you okay with that? How are you feeling about the possibility of fewer games because of everything with COVID-19?
You know, it sucks, of course. We wanted to get the full schedule, and we know that now with everything going on, it may not be the same. But like I said before, it's not something that we're only dealing with. Like, I feel like if it's going to be a 7-game season or something like that, it'll be with everyone in the country that's going to play 7 games. Not just going to be us. So we're not going through this alone. So, you know, we're going to handle it, and we're going to just adjust.
Give everybody an idea of what this cornerback room looks like. What's this position look like? You're obviously there. You've been in the program for a while. When you think about what's possible this year for the BYU corners, what comes to mind for you?
I get real excited just knowing that, like, a lot of our guys, I guess they used to be like young last year. They have a lot of experience now, so I feel like that's not really like an excuse we can have anymore of having like a young secondary as far as the corners go. So I'm just real excited for everyone that has experience, and then a lot of people are stepping up. You know, we have D'Lo, Keenan, everyone's still getting their work in, and I'm just very excited of what's to come. I know they've been working really hard, and I expect a lot from them.
When you were a young guy, there were a lot of older players that said, hey, this Chris Wilcox, this is a guy to watch. Now that you're the vet, who's the young guy that you've taken notice of?
I'm trying to think. I feel like,
and it could be more than one guy if they're stepping up.
What was that?
It could be more than one guy if there are a couple of young guys that are stepping up. Who's that young guy that you guys as veterans are taking notice?
I say for me it's D'Lo. He's been working really hard in this offseason, and I expect a lot from him. He's been learning a lot of new things, watching film, and I honestly think he'll improve a lot this year. He's played great already, but I think he'll be someone to look out for this year.
When you're a fifth-year senior, everyone's young, right?
Yeah, got to keep them under the wings. But nah, I mean they're not like babies anymore. I feel like they've been here long enough to get their plays in, and I feel like they're very experienced now. So I expect a lot from them.
Yeah, I said Austin Lee and Diane Gawiliku. Those were safeties, of course. With the corners, yeah, there's a lot of experience that they're obviously you coming back. You played several games at the end of the year. We're able to get that red shirt. So great to have you. Thanks to that rule change, right? You're here for the fifth year.
Exactly.
Awesome. D'Angelo Mandel, you mentioned. Isaiah Heron, Keenan Ellis, Shammond Willis. Anyone else I missed who's in the mix to kind of compete in that two deep?
So we have the transfer, Jock.
Wilson,
came from
right?
JC from LA. Yeah, so he's actually my roommate right now.
Oh, beautiful.
I expect a lot from him as well. Yeah.
And then did I miss Micah Harper perhaps as well? Or is he playing safety?
I think he's playing safety.
Okay.
Might.
Yeah.
We'll know for sure. I know some freshmen had came as well, but I haven't really seen the freshmen yet, so we still have to see with them.
Tell us more about Jacques. He's a guy that on signing day we're very excited about. He's your roommate. Does he do the dishes? Is he going to play well? Like, let's learn about this guy.
Nah, he's very very excited for the season. Unfortunately, with everything going on, he's just like checking Twitter every day to see what's going on. He just wants the ball. I know him. He's a real fighter. We know a lot of the same people from back home, and he's a dog. He works hard, and he's just very excited. He's just waiting for his papers to be cleared and things like that so he can start working out with us.
All right, Chris, most important question we're going to ask you today. The corners all line up. Who's the fastest? Who wins the race? Who wins the 40? The 40. Who has the fastest time?
Oh, man, you know I'm going to say me. Come on now.
Okay, who would come in second then?
Second? So I think D'Lo, Isaiah, and Keenan and Jock. I know they all need a race. I feel like I haven't really seen. I know Keenan and them. I haven't really seen Jock run full speed, but it's gonna be between one of them. I can't even tell you, to be honest.
I don't know why every year we don't have this. We say we are determining the fastest player on the team today. It's a thing in fall camp, maybe spring ball, and then everyone lines up that wants to participate, and you laser time it, and we go okay. But it's a race, right? Not just a single 40 guy, all the pressure. Can we do this? Can we figure that out? That'd be awesome, right?
I remember, I think it was the Hawaii game. I don't know if it was the regular game or the bowl game. We wanted to race, but the coaches weren't having it. They didn't want nobody pulling nothing. So it was like, it would have been like
no hamstring.
Me, Zane, like some other people on the team, but they didn't want to do it. So
yeah.
We just chilled out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll figure it out. Well, Chris, we look forward to what is hopefully, 1, a season, and 2, a full season, and 3, one in which you have, 6+ interceptions and are having an amazing senior year. Thanks for taking the time. We appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
You got it. Chris Wilcox on the Deseret First Credit Union Hotline. Deseret First, you know why, we show how. That guy was recruited by Ed Lamb heavily early. Ed Lamb comes to BYU. He says, you need to come here too. And Chris has turned out to be a really good cover corner. Tips a ball last year that Austin Lee returns for a pick 6. And he's getting ready for a 5th year. Hopefully we play because there's guys like Chris Wilcox that are ready to make plays.
And I would expect nothing less than him picking himself.
Oh, he's got to have that confidence.
You got to have the confidence.
At corner, you got to be confident.
Absolutely. And it's all about speed there, right?
Absolutely.
Coming up, a rise and shout out to a chicken.
What does that mean? And too high, too low, or just right. Football season edition. What athletic directors told Stadium that has our eyes wide open. This is BYU Sports Nation.
My name is Ben Rose, and I'm a Salt Lake City fireman. In 2012, I was diagnosed with cancer. The time frame of life for me was really made obvious. Simplifying my life and the things that make me happy opened up a lot of doors for me to be able to go out and travel, which is a huge part of my bucket list. You should never wait till it's almost too late to do the things that you want to do. My name is Ben Rose, and my why is to live life to the fullest.
Pistol again. Boise showing from the edge. It's a handoff to Katoa. It's a give to Hefo. It's a flea flicker and a throw to Bushman. It's complete and another touchdown! 39-yard score on the reverse flea flicker.
You know, at BYU Broadcasting, our mantra is we want nothing less than world-class entertainment.
JD, I'm your sister.
Oh, my
We share the same father.
All-round champion.
That feeling I get when I see an animal run for the first time, it's like nothing else in the world.
Mortal enemy or harmless peasants?
We have loved working for BYU TV. They want to create entertainment that's for the whole family, and we want a show that can accomplish that.
Hard to do clean comedy, and they do it really well.
Comedy is an escape. It helps you laugh at other things, and it helps you laugh at yourself.
Recognize me? Think about this. Our fans are people who think we're awesome because we do nice things.
This segment of BYU Sports Nation is presented by Bodyguards, protection for a life worth living.
Welcome back to BYU Sports Nation. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review the show wherever you get your podcast.
The show always available anytime on demand via the BYU TV and BYU Radio apps.
Time for a little Too High, Too Low, or Just Right, presented by Bodyguards, protection for a life worth living. Learn more at bodyguards.com. Stadium Sports put out the results of a poll of college athletic directors about their confidence level of what they see out of the college football season. Let's discuss some of these. Too high, too low, or just right, Jason.
Okay.
Number one, 27% of FBS ADs believe the season will start as scheduled. Too high, too low, or just right?
I would say right now that's probably just right. That sounds about right to me. I think the pessimism surrounding everything, you would maybe say that it's too high right now. But I would say it's about right. So I'm good with that.
Yeah, I think it's just right. Probably, a quarter chance that it actually starts on time. And there's probably, well, here's the thing. Shouldn't we try and move stuff up?
You would think you would move it up and avoid the late season. Yeah.
I don't know. Can you move it up right now? I don't know.
Lots of unknowns. All right, Jerem, 25%.
These numbers are depressing.
Yes, I know. 25% of FBS ADs believe it will be a delayed conference-only beginning to the season. Too high, too low, or just right?
Too low. I would think that there are more that believe that this will be the case, right?
Yes.
Certainly the momentum over the weekend was shifting that direction. We've quoted the Big 12 Commissioner Bob Bowlesby, your homie, saying, well, we aren't making that decision right now. I hope they don't, because I want BYU to keep the Missouri game. I want BYU to keep some of these Group of 5 games. I don't want to have to scatter and play all the independents home and road. That doesn't sound that great. But I'd take that over nothing.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's too low. I'm surprised that number is not a lot higher. Certainly, we know of the conferences that have already made that decision, and even the conferences that are holding out are still talking about it being an option that's out there. It certainly seems like that's the way things are trending right now. Mm-hmm. I would certainly expect that to be significantly higher than just 25%.
Okay, 10% of FBS ADs believe there will be a 12-game delayed fall start. Too high, too low, or just right?
I would say that's just right. I think 10% chance of a full 12-game season happening
delayed, meaning you going into December.
Yeah, I say it's about right. I'd say it's right, 10%.
I think it's maybe even too high. I don't see how you're going to get 12 and go into December. If you're going to play, I don't see how 12 happens. Like, again, I said last week, I'll be surprised if we play at all. I hope we do, and part of me thinks if we say it's going to be delayed and we say it's not going to happen, then maybe not us, but I mean generally media. I don't feel that powerful here. If I say this,
it will happen.
No, trust me. I say a lot about the schedule. Nothing happens. I don't think that the media needs to be careful, right? We're saying this, so now people freak out, right? We need to be careful of the influence that we can have, generally speaking, with the media. So yeah, the poll of the FBS ADs continuing at 11% predict conference only, 20% predict a 12-game spring start,
and 7% predict no college football.
Wow. Okay. Our question of the day: what's BYU's highest priority in trying to schedule games in place of canceled Big Ten and Pac-12 games? The Elite Voice of the Day is presented by Sundance Mountain Resort at Mr. Sport Court on Twitter. I wonder what he does for work. It's always about revenue. Work with ESPN to assist in landing revenue, generating teams like Notre Dame, UNLV, Army, Air Force, maybe even home-and-home games in the same season. Be smart on safe fan participation and let Cougar Nation manage their personal exposure risks. That's an interesting idea we've not explored, which is what if BYU played a non-independent home and road? We haven't thought of that one.
No, it's usually when you're talking about playing
too?
Twice in a season, you're usually talking about other independents.
Because we're assuming that other conference teams would have a setup in which they're good.
Yes, and you're assuming that you would have extra games to fill, therefore the 2-2 would make sense with another independent.
Who gets today's Rise and Shadow?
How about this? Caleb Lohner, new BYU basketball player, posting on Instagram, he has purchased a chicken. There it is right there.
Bought a chicken. What did you guys do last week? I didn't do that. I might have eaten chicken, but I didn't buy a chicken.
No, love chicken. But yes, no. Thanks to today's guests, Zach Barnett, Chris Wilcox. Conversation continues 24/7 on Twitter, Instagram, and the Facebook. Use hashtag BYUSN. Always.
Friday, Dennis Pitta. No time for Jason. I'm Jerem. Shout out to Ron Bard. See you tomorrow on BYU Sports Nation. Go Cougs!